It's 2024, and to distract you from all the diddying that's going around, I'm going to talk about how boring cars have been recently. I'm talking about unbelievably boring. Here's something that's interesting. There's over 500 new car models coming in, and about 30% of them are all 4-cylinder turbos, EVs, or hybrid with 4-cylinder turbos. And just like scrolling through 2 in the morning, going through the same category every single time kind of gets a little boring. At one point, there's actually a time where manufacturers didn't care about reliability, or emissions, or safety, or anything of that sort, and decided to take a big fat line of and decide to engineer some of the most insane cars just out there. Now, starting off with one of my favorite cars, Volkswagen decided to include a new luxury sedan in their lineup, but they made it a little bit spicy. The Volkswagen Phaeton, the Volkswagen Faten was introduced in 2002 with a 6-liter naturally aspirated W12. Yeah, I said a W12, not your traditional V12, a W12, making 450 horsepower and about 430 foot-pounds of torque, giving it a 0 to 60 in just 5.8 seconds. Now, this engine shares a very similar platform to the up-and-coming Bentley Continental, and if you remember, Volkswagen obtained Bentley and Audi. However, the little brother was outshined, having very similar body lines to the A8 series and a hefty MSRP at $100,000 in 2002, which in today's money is about $172,000. It faded out and thus was forgotten. Now, you can find models for around 55K to 100K miles for about $20,000, but good luck because they are very, very rare. But the best part about it is that beautiful, amazing, naturally aspirated W12. Now, sticking to crazy Germans, no, not you, Audi decided that the new up-and-coming 2010 S6 can't have an inline 5 or a V6 twin turbo or even just a naturally aspirated V8. Instead, the board decided the most logical answer: ripping the V10 out of the Lamborghini Gallardo and stick it into their sports sedan. They must have fallen in love with the R8's performance, because this new creation gave the super sedan 435 horsepower and about 400 foot-pounds of torque, allowing the S6 to scream from 0 to 60 in just 4.8 seconds. I'm sorry, you just need to hear it. This beautiful creation was a godsend through the financial crisis, only if your car didn't break down, which it would. A lot, like a stupid amount. Since the layout was so complicated, it was extremely expensive to fix, coupled with timing issues, cooling issues, electrical problems, oil consumption, and the fact that you're daily driving an Italian engine, which has never been known for reliability. It was another car that has just been lost. Now, you could find 100K mile examples for less than 10K, but again, please do your research before you even try to purchase them, as they are going to be a headache from the moment you buy them to the end when you sell it again for the next poor soul. Now, let's come back to, a more realistic approach. Ford also dabbled in the madness bong. In 2010, they brought back the Ford Taurus SHO. If you lived in Georgia, like me, this was the Charger before the Charger. The underappreciated sedan featured a Ford 3.5-liter V6 twin-turbo EcoBoost, giving a stock 365 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque. Coupled to a 6-speed auto with paddle shifters and put into an all-wheel drive system, it gave you a 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. Although it seems very meh on paper, the aftermarket for this engine is really what gives it its shine. Having factory forged internals and simple mods, you can confidently make about 500 horsepower. Depending on age and miles, you can expect 15K to 25K for one of these bad boys. Let's say today you want an American V8 4-door sedan. You really only have the Cadillac or the Charger, but there was a time that Chevy was part of that pack. In a short 3 years, Chevy bore a great being, the Chevy SS. The American sports sedan features Chevy's brilliant 6.2-liter LS3, bone stock, making 415 horsepower and 415 foot-pounds of torque. Either comes with a 6-speed auto or manual. This true sleeper still allows for modern luxury, like an 8-inch touchscreen, navigation, a premium Bose audio system, and even heated and cool seats. In my personal opinion, one of the best options on this list. MSRP of $46,000, but because of the rarity, the price has stayed firm around this price. Okay. I've been talking about sedans for a very long time, but let's say you want something a little bit different. So let's say you want a SUV, and you want a diesel, and you want big old turbos, and you also want a 5-liter V10. In the early 2000s, Volkswagen, a word that I can't even say, TDI, is the only option. Being a mixed blend of luxury and high diesel performance made the TDI stand out amongst its competitors. The V10 may have only produced 310 horsepower, but its 600 foot-pounds of torque definitely made up for it, allowing the giant to complete the 0 to 60 time in just 7 seconds. It truly shines in its towing capacity, with it being able to tow a 747. Now, to take an American spin on the last car would be the Dodge SRT V10 pickup truck. Dodge decided that one of their special editions should in fact have the same 8.3 liter V10 from the Dodge Viper, which produces 500 horsepower and 525 foot-pounds of torque. It makes the truck go from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. You could have either a 4-speed automatic, but if you're a true man who drives a car with just basically the biggest schlong in the world, you would most likely go for the 6-speed manual. They were offered in either regular cabs or quad cabs, and they were relatively limited at only 10,000 units. With a towing capacity of nearly 7,500 pounds, it is something that you could truly flex. With the MPG of 9 to 10 around the city and 15 on the highway, you really aren't going to get that far, but who cares, because you have the giantest engine in the world. Now, with the MSRP of $45,000, you could still find them for relatively decent condition around $20,000. For my favorite car that's on this list, and honestly my biggest inspiration to this entire video, the W140 S600. Now, this car is honestly one of the most iconic cars recently. What makes this car so special is because it features the brilliant 6-liter V12. This is the same V12 that Pagani has used from their cars in the early production era. I'm talking about an exotic engine inside of your luxury sedan. You have 402 naturally aspirated horsepower, pushing the car in a 0 to 60 in just around 6 seconds. Unfortunately, you are given, well, a 4-speed automatic and, well, honestly, infotainment that seems like it came out of North Korea. But although you have all these minute things in 2024, you still have the beautifully sounding V12. The only issue is the price point to achieve such a great sound of nearly $10,000 for an exquisite exhaust. However, if you are somebody who's rich or stupid, you wouldn't mind just dropping over, well, $17,000 for a car that you will barely be able to run, but have the amazing sound of just the most brilliant V12 in the entire world while only going 35 miles an hour. Now, this concludes my list of some of the most insane cars out there with some of the most insane engines. Now, if you like it, please tell me. If you don't like it, then you can just tell me to kill myself. I don't really care. Just let me know if you enjoyed the video.